Verse 28 is probably one of the most misunderstood verses in Christianity, and unfortunately, it has brought wrong doctrine into the church. So let's just read it the way our Bible translates it. And we know, this is verse 28, that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called, or the called, according to his purpose. So that verse right there has caused great confusion among people because they see this all things. And it says, we know that all things work together for our good, for good to those who love God. And they say, well, if God is working all things for our good, that must mean that if I get sick and I get a disease, then that's God just doing that in my life so I can get stronger. That's how they preach that. That's not what I believe, right? It's not God working all things. Whenever you say all things, it's the good and the bad. They say that any bad thing is God designing it for your purpose. And that's wrong. And I would even consider that blasphemy. That is wrong. That is wrong doctrine here. And I want to show you where that confusion comes from. If you look at this just in the original Greek, we find that this word things actually isn't there. It's the word panta. The translators have to add that word in. So let's just read it without that word because it's actually not even there. So let's just read it without that word. And we know that all work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to his purpose. So now we know that all work together. So now we have to understand if it's not all things, then what is it all of? What is all working together to good for those who love God? Well, as we start looking into this word, I'm not going to go into all the Greek grammar, but I put it in your notes because this is so crucial to understand. I'd encourage you to read it, but I don't want to bore you with a bunch of Greek grammar right now. But what I want to tell you is that this word panta it's the word for all. Now, panta that word specifically can either be in the plural neuter, or it can be in a singular masculine accusative. And it's an adjective that adjectives are very crucial in Greek, and they're very, very specific. And when an adjective is there, and it's in a certain case, gender, and person, it has to modify the noun in the same way. So in this case, the word panta is actually modifying another noun, and it's the word God. So whenever you read it in that fashion, this is the word panta. And so whenever you read it in this, it says, and we know that to those who love God, notice that the Greek actually puts it right at the very beginning. It's talking about those who love God. Those who love God, the God, ton theon, panta, the all, he is working to the good. So whenever you translate it like that, we know that to those who love God, the all of God, referring to God, he is working together for good. Doesn't that make a big difference? It's not all things being worked together. It's that the all of God is working. This word synerge is in the third person singular. He, God, pointing back to him. The all of God specifically. And why is it singular? Because God is one, right? So the Trinity is one, 3 persons, but one God. So the all of God, that's why it's singular, he is working together for good.